Hey everyone, Joe Emilio here, and let's get right into it. The Department of International Relations and Cooperation, or DIRCO, has just dropped a statement that sparked some serious outrage, and it's all about farm attacks in South Africa. So DIRCO is essentially calling out the recent 2024 US Human Rights Report, which suggested that human rights in South Africa have worsened and pointed to racially motivated attacks against minorities. DIRCO's response? They're saying those claims are inaccurate. They released a statement with specific data from the South African Police Service for the first quarter of 2025. That's January to March. According to them, during that period, there were 6 murders in farming communities, and they've broken down the victims. 3 were employees, 1 was a farm dweller, and 2 were farmers. Their argument is that this breakdown shows crime affects everyone, not just one racial group, and that there's no evidence of a racial motive. It's a very direct dismissal of the idea that these attacks are a form of genocide or are racially driven. But as you can imagine, this has not gone down well with everyone. Organizations like AfriForum have slammed the government's statement, accusing them of trying to manipulate the narrative. They argue that DIRCO is conveniently using a very small, recent data set to ignore a much longer, more brutal history. AfriForum and others point to specific incidents and historical data to back their claims. For instance, in one study from the early 2000s, it was found that of the murdered victims, 74% were white. They also cite cases where attackers have used racial slurs or slogans like "kill the Boer" during the crimes, suggesting that the motive is clearly racial. They believe these are not just random acts of crime, but are hate crimes fueled by dangerous rhetoric that the government refuses to condemn. This is where the real complexity comes in, because the statistics themselves are a point of contention. The numbers cited by DIRCO for the first quarter of 2025 are much lower than what groups like AfriForum report over a longer period. For example, AfriForum's report for the first quarter of 2023 claimed that at least 77 farm attacks and 9 murders happened. Why the discrepancy? It often comes down to what's being counted. Are we talking about just murders or all violent attacks? Are we including only commercial farmers or also farm workers, farm dwellers, and small holdings? The definition of what constitutes a farm attack and who is a victim can drastically change the numbers. The government says crime is crime and it affects everyone. Groups like AfriForum say the racial motive is clear and is being ignored. Ultimately, what we're seeing is a deep divide in how South Africa's crime problem is perceived, especially in rural areas. On one side, you have the government presenting a picture of non-racialized crime based on a specific recent data set. On the other, you have civil rights groups and farming unions arguing that the denial of a racial element is a betrayal of the victims and the country's violent history. The debate isn't just about numbers, it's about the very nature of crime and who is most vulnerable in a country with a painful past. But let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, ladies and gentlemen. Do you agree with DIRCO or do you agree with AfriForum? Who is lying about the numbers, and should farm attacks or farm murders be properly defined? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to Truth Report. With all that being said, your Truth Report is in.